Good morning.
It's Dr. James Judge here and Dr. Kalie Judge. We are here with another episode of Tea Time with the Judges. And today, Dr. Kalie texted me and said she wasn't feeling very well, but she thinks she has kicked it in the butt.
Yes.
So that brought to attention that many people coming through our doors, the people that we see, love, care about, have sniffles, coughs, have the flu, and we want to go through some wives' tale. Basically, this is the what not to wear of sickness, what not to do when you have sickness, quote unquote.
Yeah, so this morning, it actually started on Sunday, just started feeling, that tickle in your throat, and yesterday I started getting some coughing and some sore throat stuff going on. And this morning, it felt like it just hit me, and I ended up sleeping in until 7:30 this morning, which is unusual for me. I'm usually up between 5 and 5:30, almost without anything coming between that. And then I woke up, did my devotional time, and then I'll go into what I did later because it's kind of going the opposite of everything that we have written on this board. I feel much better. My energy is up. You can still probably hear some congestion in my voice, and my nose is still stuffed up, but definitely I think we're going to...
I could just remember, and the reason why we came up with this today, I could just remember when I got sick when I was a kid, or was expressing symptoms when I was a kid, the things that Mom and Dad used to do. And just like as we grew up and learned about things that we put into our bodies, it just didn't make any sense, the things that we were given when we were sick to make us, quote unquote, get better. It might have made us feel better, but it's not going to make us heal any better. Things like saltine crackers when you have an upset stomach, right? It's a bunch of junk and sugar and processed flours and wheats.
That stuff just creates more inflammation,
yeah.
Right? We always want to do the opposite of creating inflammation. We want to continue to decrease inflammation.
Right. Then these sugary drinks that we'll talk about with the fizz, you pop it open and you drink a can of 25 grams of sugar when you have a stomach ache or the flu, or a noodle soup. I won't say the name brand, but there was noodle soup that you open from a can and you look at the ingredients, there's high fructose corn syrup in there. You don't know if that's really chicken chunks that's in there, or what are the noodles made from. Like, it might taste good and make you feel better, but it's not going to make you heal better.
Yeah, just because something's comforting for you doesn't necessarily mean that it's boosting your immune system. It doesn't mean that you're healing at a higher rate. Actually, in fact, the more uncomfortable I got today, the more healing happened. So we'll go into all that stuff in a minute.
So let's go through. We've come up with 6 different things to kind of steer clear from. So we're going to go over what not to do, and then give you tips and tricks on what to do.
I'm going to give
when
you a shirt that says
tips and tricks
right on the top.
Full of all the tips and all the tricks.
All of them.
All right, so the first one, what not to do when you're sick, is decrease your temperature.
This is my favorite one to teach patients about, because the number one thing that medical doctors tell us, or even our grandmas and grandpas and great grandmas and grandpas and moms and dads, is you got to get that fever down. You got to get that fever down. Oh, if it gets past a certain number, they're gonna have a seizure. They're gonna have brain damage. All this stuff, and it's just this like excessive fear factor. Because the reality is that stuff doesn't happen on a regular basis. Can it happen? Absolutely, but that's like it's a 1 in a million shot that it's going to happen. Majority of times our temperature doesn't raise up to that number. I think it's like 104 and a half or something.
104, 105, yeah.
And so yes, there is a fear factor, and you want to monitor it. But like for us, like we don't have thermometers in our house. We don't have any of that stuff, so we really don't even know what our temperature ever is. I can kind of feel my neck. Like last night, I started to okay, I'm developing a fever. I can feel that. And that's celebrated in our house. When we have a fever, it's celebrated. Why? Because we know that our body is going into attack mode. It's fighting whatever is trying to attack it. So there's like I just imagine like little soldiers out there like getting ready to go on the battlefield and fight off what's going after them. So.
Yeah, I think that fevers are feared so much because doctors put that fear into you. And when you monitor a fever, and I say to my patients, why do you even have a thermometer at your house? Really, if your child is healthy, they don't have any brain injury or brain damage, the fever is actually a good thing. As your fever rises, things happen internally that allows your immune system to go to work. It's a thing called interleukin 2 that is activated, and that boosts your immune system 2,000%. So all those little things that are trying to help you get activated, they get created and turned on. So it's not good to decrease the fever. And again, why are people so scared of fevers at 103? I just had a patient come in yesterday and say, my sister-in-law went to the doctor. She had the baby had 103 fever. They gave her all this medication and antibiotics, and we've had fevers before. We've had 103, 104 fevers before, and we never went to the medical doctor because of the scare tactics that happen out there. Again, your body does not want to kill you. It will do everything it can to keep you alive. The fever is there to keep you alive. Fevers are awesome.
So, what do you do instead of decreasing the fever? We increase the fever.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, the first thing I did after I did my devotionals was, what did I do? I went and got in the sauna. So I was sitting in 140 to 150 degrees temperature. I ended up sitting in there for almost an entire hour, just sitting in there and sweating and increasing the temperature of my cells, increasing the temperature at my core, and I felt I could breathe better by the time I got out of there. I could feel all the junk kind of releasing in my sinuses. I was coughing up the nasty stuff in my lungs that had been parked there for the last couple days. So there was just a small victory that happened once I got out of there. So that's for adults. That's a great thing to do, is to go sit into a sauna. What I tell patients that have children is to run a hot bath, but then also to add some stuff to it. One of my favorite things to add is lemon slices, because that's going to help increase the temperature of the body as well. And then I just actually learned this a couple weeks ago through a network of chiropractors that we're in. And they put about 1.5 to 2 cups of apple cider vinegar in the bath, which helps to detox the process and then also raise the temperature as well. So I thought that was pretty neat.
I do this, and it's important to do this regularly throughout the week. So I take at least 3 to 4 baths. I always talk about them on this podcast per week, and I make sure that I get into the infrared sauna at least once a week for 45 minutes. I try to get there 2 to 3 times a week. It doesn't always happen, but the bath and the sauna back and forth. And then also you can do temperature changing. Your body, if it fluctuates, it helps kill off the weak cells, the mitochondria that are in your body giving your energy, by raising the temperature and then getting into a freezing cold shower for about 3 minutes and then going back into the heat back and forth will help just kill off the bad stuff and boost that immune system as well. Temperature regulation is huge, and it should be done regularly.
Yeah, so you don't want to be taking any medicine that's one of the first things, if you go to the doctor, they're going to recommend, is to take this. It's going to decrease the fever. I just had another family go through this last week, and I'm like, this is going to be that moment where this is where you start to divorce that system that you grew up in. And it was cool to see that they came out of it without having to give any medications, without having to go through that system that they've been going through, and they just did everything that I told them to do, and he's totally fine, and it's cool.
So once you start to think about things like fevers or vomiting or diarrhea, if you think about those as bad things, that's when you get scared. But you have to realize, you have to embrace the symptoms and say, hey, my body is doing what it needs to do to flush out the nasty food that I ate, or the virus that's in my stomach, or get it out through vomiting as well, to get it out so my body doesn't have to work so hard to get rid of it internally, in the fever as well. So think about those things as good, and it will change your mindset, and you won't be as scared.
Good stuff. Number 2 is sugary drinks.
So most people run to these things. I won't name the name brand, but those
lemon lime.
The clear sodas that taste lemony and limey, right? So
with a
you
lot
pop
of
it
sugar
open
in
and
it.
it just tastes so good coming down. But guys, bacteria or the virus that is inside of you feeds off of that. So it actually makes you sick for a longer period of time. And it also does a lot of different things, like increasing your insulin levels, increasing all of this inflammatory mechanism that's in your body. Will make you sicker over time.
So
why do you think people have been doing this for so long, running to those drinks?
I'm guessing that somebody's grandma thought it was a good idea, and it just stayed.
Because of the carbonation.
Yeah.
Right?
And that's good. Like, we'll have Perrier water sometimes when I'm not feeling well.
Just had some myself.
Yeah, just to get that going. I'm not sure do you know what the
it helps, the bubbling of the stomach helps you feel better. I don't think that taking these drinks actually does anything. I don't think anyone told you that. It just settles your stomach better. So if you're looking for carbonation, there's better options like Perrier water or any bubbled water that's out there, the
just
soda
regular,
water.
Without the sugar in it, without all
sugar.
that stuff. So what did I drink today? Well, water is going to be like my best friend. I'm going to consume even more water than I normally would. Again, we talk about this all the time. You want to drink about half of your body weight in ounces of water every single day. So for me, I'm going to drink just at least that, probably some extra. And then this morning, what I had for my shake, instead of actually eating, because normally I eat on Tuesdays for tea time, because I get hungry. But instead of eating, I had a shake. So what I put in my shake is, we have a bone broth protein powder that's made with turmeric. So that is extremely amazing for decreasing inflammation and boosting your immune system. So I did that with some coconut milk and some blueberries, and that was my breakfast. And then along with my supplements that I had.
If you have things like sore throats, teas work very well. Like yesterday, she had a little sore throat. She also used cayenne pepper extract, put that stuff on the back of her throat, and it killed the bacteria. You put it on there for about 10 seconds, hold it there. It lets it fester a little bit, and then swallow it. And then today she woke up without any sore throat. She still has some congestion, but the sore throat's gone. So again, that's the best antibiotic that you can get, is just killing the bacteria that's on there. And it's not systemic, and it's natural. Putting lemon slices into your tea, putting some good honey into the tea as well will help get rid of some sore throats and things. But you don't want to use a lot of that. There's good natural herbal teas out there, chamomile and ginseng and what is that word that I'm looking for? Echinacea. You can get teas at the health food store that you can put in there as well and consume them. But again, make sure that you're staying away from as much sugar, especially high fructose corn syrup, as possible.
Yeah, so real quick I want to hit on something. You said something about honey, and so there's a fine line that you want to kind of walk with that, because if you have too much of it, then it's kind of doing the opposite, because it's still sugar. With that. One thing is I used to put it in my tea all the time and just like have that as be like a resource for me. I'll use that if I have like a nasty cough and a nasty sore throat, and there's nothing else that's going to soothe it. I'll actually just take like a little bit of a half a teaspoon of it or something, and let that kind of just coat my throat a little bit. And so instead of just putting it in my tea, because by the time I end up putting it in my tea, it's like half a bottle in there, and that's probably just as bad as the bubbly drink. So. The no quills, number 3.
No quills. That's the night quill, the day quill, and the sleep quill, and the dream quill, and all the quills that are out there.
That we don't know about, because we don't know too many quills.
We've never taken this stuff before.
Never met a quill.
I've actually tasted it, and that was the last time. It was disgusting, trying to get that stuff down. But just look at the ingredients in the night quill and in the day quill and all that stuff that people take when they're sick, and just, we can't assume that those things that are in there that you're consuming are actually healing you. They might put you to sleep. They might keep you up during the day, but it's not good to be changing chemicals so much when you're sick. Your body knows exactly what it needs to do. If you're tired, go to sleep, right? Sleep in. We've got a lot of stress going on right now in our personal lives. So for me, I slept in this morning because I know that if I'm running the candle at both ends, I'm going to get sick and develop things. And this stuff it's not real sleep. If you're taking NyQuil to go to sleep and stay asleep, you're really not sleeping properly, because again, there's chemicals running through your system. So now you have to heal from the chemicals plus the problem that you have.
Yeah.
Problems that's not keeping you up.
Yeah, so for me, my work day didn't end until 10 o'clock last night. So I was like just poured out everything that I had. And then 5:30 came around, and I was like, actually it was 5:08. I got up, I fed the dogs, and then I'm like, I gotta go back to bed, because I just know, again, we have a lot of stuff coming up in these next 2 weeks. I'm traveling, and then again we're traveling, so I just want to be at my best. But instead of for the quills for me, so I had my bone broth shake this morning, and then I took my supplements. So I took 10,000 IUs of vitamin D3. And then I took 2 of the daily defense that we have, which has N-acetyl-L-cysteine, which is going to help with my detox system. It's going to help with, it's got turmeric in there. It's got watermelon extract, which is also going to help with any water retention that I might have. And then I've been taking vitamin C and greens first. I actually started taking that last week because I knew that everybody was kind of coming through here with stuff going on. So I'll take that a couple times a day. And then my omegas, because I'm trying to get inflammation down. So I am putting good supplements into my system rather than just kind of coating the surface and trying to get rid of symptoms. So that's kind of my regimen for when I get ill or get sick or whatever. I actually posted a bunch of stuff on my Instagram story just to kind of show what I've been taking. And the cayenne pepper that I did yesterday, I did that twice yesterday. I'll probably do it again just for safe measures today. It's not something that you want to really do on your own. You kind of have to have a buddy for that because, and if you have questions on how to do that, or if you're a patient, ask us. We'll actually do it for you. Yeah, it's brutal, but once you get past that pain, like I did it yesterday afternoon. I was like dancing around in my office, like this is the worst pain I've ever been in.
Actually, at the end of it, it gets you more energy too.
Yeah.
You know, so cayenne pepper kind of sparks energy.
Yeah.
Which is great. So let's go on to number 4, Z-Packs or antibiotics. And again, when these kids come in, they have these fevers. Parents get scared. They run to the doctor. They get prescribed these medications. They take those medications. What happens to a kid's immune system when they continually take antibiotics? Studies have shown that
your immune system gets broken down.
Right, and actually, I think after 6 rounds of antibiotics, your chances of cancer increases 60%.
Because what it's doing, you're taking antibiotics, so it's messing up your gut system. So if you don't have a good gut flora, then your body can't heal, because I think it's like 80% of your immune system is housed in your gut. So again, you want to make sure that you're having good gut health.
Yeah, you guys have to remember, each time you get sick, your body actually gets stronger because it creates memory of the sickness. So if something comes around, the same kind of strand that she's going through right now comes around in 3 or 4 months from now, she's not going to experience any symptoms because she already has the antibodies created in her own body, by her own body, that's going to fight off those things naturally before she even knows it. Like for me, people come in that are sick and expressing symptoms, my hands are all over them, they're coughing in my face. Probably 3 times out of the year I'll get something that happens, but again, I embrace that because I know that next year I'm going to be healthier. But I have aunts and uncles that as soon as they get sick, they run to the doctor because they don't have time to handle the sickness. But again, guys, each time you're doing that, it's like you're chipping away at your amazing immune system, and it's becoming weaker and weaker and weaker, and eventually that thing breaks.
Yeah, so instead of this, in the sauna, I had a salt block. I have a salt block that's always like sitting there with me, just to kind of like heat it up and let it out into the air. But today I put eucalyptus essential oil on the salt block, so it kind of like evaporated into the air. So that's what I was breathing in. I also had, it's called RC. It's just a good helping with your bronchioles, with your breathing, helping to clear the airways. I put that right on my chest. And then I put Copaiba on the bottom of my feet. And all that stuff is getting into my cells, it's getting into my tissues, it's opening up airways and helping me breathe. So instead of doing that, that would be like a Z-Pack kind of a change up there. It's just getting my body to work on its own. And then that's also where like the Greens First comes in. So the Greens First has probiotics and enzymes. So I'm actually boosting my gut health, which is going to take care of itself on its own with that. So that's how it's boosting our immune system through that process. Plus it's got quercetin in there. I didn't have it at home, but the Cell Detox has glutathione in there, which is going to help raise your immune system. It's actually 5,000 times more powerful than vitamin C, which I'm also taking. So yeah, it's just
another good thing, like that's a good antibiotic, natural, is just garlic.
Yes.
Raw garlic. Now, don't chew the garlic, but take a clove and open it up
Swallow
it like a pill. Do that 3 times during the day, and that's going to help your body's immune system. It's also good for heart disease as well. But another thing to help you sleep and get rid of things is a nighttime drink that I always drink, and that's a teaspoon of honey and some salt, some Himalayan salt, some apple cider vinegar, lemon juice, so a half of lemon, in a little bit of stevia, and put about 8 ounces of water in that with all of that stuff, and drink it down. There's something that is to be said about the combination of honey, apple cider vinegar, and lemon when it's sleeping. Honey helps you sleep anyway, just don't take too much of it.
Yeah, don't take the whole bottle. Honey bunnies.
Okay, honey. Number 5.
Before we started this video, and he did too, just had the most amazing adjustment in my entire life.
That's because she's got the most amazing chiropractor.
Well, some would argue that he has the best chiropractor in the world, which is me.
But I taught her everything that she knows.
Yeah, it's all about, taking what you learn and just making it even better.
And being humble on the process.
Being super humble. But I got adjusted just now, and I'm so thankful for that. I was actually, doing all this stuff at home, taking the bone broth, doing the sauna, doing the essential oils, taking the supplements, and all this stuff. I'm like, man, I just can't wait to actually get adjusted. Because we know that our immune system is boosted 200% every single time that you get adjusted. So I'm actually probably going to get adjusted again later today, just to continue to boost that, because I don't want this thing to even grab hold. It can come stay for a minute, but it's got to go. So yeah, he adjusted my entire spine, but my atlas got pressure off my brainstem, so I know that the function has been restored in my body. So I know my body's healing the way that it's designed to and doing what it's supposed to do. So don't skip it. Actually add extra.
We understand, guys, that sometimes you absolutely cannot move out of bed, and that's a time that you should stay in bed. But if you can get up and you can drive yourself here or have someone drive you here, the longer you wait, the less healing that you have. Because again, when we talk about nervous system, the brain controls your immune system. The brain controls everything. And if there's blockage up here at the top because a bone has shifted out of alignment, then it's going to take longer for your body to heal. So as soon as we can open that pathway of healing up, that floodgate of life, the more healing happens throughout the entire process. So don't skip your adjustments. Add adjustments. We understand, though, that there are times that you absolutely cannot get out of bed because you don't have any
zero
energy.
So, there's sometimes.
But as soon as that energy comes back, say, hey, I'm coming in, I'm getting my adjustment today, I'm coming twice today, I'm coming twice tomorrow, whatever you need to do to make sure. If you've never been analyzed for spinal issues before by a chiropractor, now's a good time to do that, because again, we're going into the winter months. People that have come into my office, they haven't been sick in 2 years, and they used to get everything that came across the office desk, basically. Every month, I have a patient that she's great. She says, I haven't been sick in 2 years, and she tells everyone at her office, and she's all, I love you, Laura, for doing that, right? But again, why is that happening? Well, because your immune system's stronger. It's not that you changed anything else in your life. You just have a better immune system because the brain, the best doctor in the world, can communicate back and forth. And that's the best message that you're going to learn here today. So we didn't go to the doctor when we were sick. We didn't go to the artificial chemical doctor called the medicine cabinet when we were sick. We had either our uncle come over to us and adjust us, or we went to him and got frequent adjustments to make sure that we were healing at the optimal level.
Yeah, I remember when I was younger, and I went through bouts of some sicknesses and stuff that happened, and I remember Uncle Bill used to come over to the house and adjust me on the bed, and I didn't fully understand the power of what that was doing. I'm thankful for it to have happened in the past. But it's just it's the best thing that people have. You have an amazing doctor inside of you, and it doesn't need anything else. If I didn't do any of the other stuff and I could only get adjusted, I would choose that every single time, and just lay there and let my body heal. But there is stuff that's going to actually help boost your immune system and not hinder it. So,
we talked about this a little bit, but you can use your imagination on what type of soup we are talking about. But the canned name brand soups that people run to when they're sick, thinking that the stuff in this can is going to magically heal me, right? Look at the ingredients. Again, it's all about the ingredients. And once you see the ingredients in those soups, you'll say, why the heck am I feeding this to myself or my children, even when I'm healthy, let alone sick? Even the stuff that says organic, doesn't matter if it's organic, there's still stuff in there that you should not be consuming when you're sick. So what are some things that you love to make? I have my mom make me soup when I'm sick. Literally, if I'm on the bed dying, I call her and I say, listen, It's time to get your recipe out and go to the store immediately because I need my mom and I need the soup now. Yes, I still do that at 36 years old, almost, I promise you. But it's the amazing thing, like, just eating this stuff makes me feel better. But again, there's a better option than taking a can, opening it, and pouring it into a pan and heating it up.
So we call it sick soup, and in the past, it actually was not very healthy for us if you look at what it used to be.
Right.
We have changed the recipe.
We do that once a year now, and that's Thanksgiving usually, and we have about 5 different bowls of it because it's so good, but it's not good for you.
But this now, so we use, you can use just organic vegetable broth, or you can use organic bone broth, and just good like celery and carrots and no noodles. You don't even need any meat, because if you can, the less you have to make your body work to heal. Like I probably won't eat too much solid food in the next couple of days because I really just want my body to be able to fight whatever's going on. I want all the energy to go there. So I won't be eating like huge meals. I'll be having shakes. I might have some vegetable broth with some veggies. Right now, that I was thinking about that, like shakes are just the biggest thing that you can do. That bone broth that we have with the turmeric is just probably the best thing that you can have in your arsenal this winter, to just be able to fight stuff, to do, preventatively, but then also when it comes in, to really start healing.
Yeah. Jeff asked, why don't we chew the garlic?
Well, because we have to see patients all day long,
yeah.
and they would kill us.
And we don't want you chewing the garlic patients either, because
we have to see you all the time
as well. So
and there are some smells.
If you just swallow it, you bypass the smell that is lingering.
And sometimes it won't actually bypass because it'll come out of your pores, and it'll come out of your mouth. But
it'll come out, like if we're talking to you, we won't be able to smell it, my friend.
I
think you knew the answer to that anyway.
He's trying to be funny. He wrote something again.
Yes.
Yes.
Don't chew the garlic or the onions. I talk to Luke about that all the time. Take the onions out.
There's also a thing where I've read where you can put onions on the bottom of your feet and then wear socks and do that in bed, and it's supposed to like draw out the toxins. I don't know 100% about that, but I know that's one of Jeff's questions that he has is onions in the socks. So maybe he can research that and put it in the links below. No, that's like he's asked questions about that before.
Cool. Onions draw things out. So again, with onions, you're not supposed to open it up and leave it out on the cabinet or the counter, not in the cabinet, but because it literally draws bacteria in. So you're supposed to use the whole onion or throw it away. You're not supposed to keep it in the refrigerator. Didn't know if you knew that. Even in a plastic bag, because again, it absorbs all the bad stuff. That's why people put it in their socks. That's where it came from. Or they put it, like if you have an ear infection, they put it next to their pillow. I don't know why they do that, but it's kind of nasty. All right, guys, those are our 6 things. Make sure that you increase your temperature. Make sure you stay away from sugar. Make sure you do not have NyQuil, Dayquil, or all the quills that you want to take. Z-Pak and antibiotics. The more you take of that, the less of an immune system that you have later on in your life. Skip adjustments, not a good thing when you're sick. You actually want to add 2 or 3 adjustments. And name brand soups. Make your own soups. Make sure they're good, whole, nutrient soups filled with good stuff to help you not just feel better, but heal better.
Vitamin C. Can we just go into that real quick?
Yep.
Because you can get some vitamin C at the drugstores and things like that. And that stuff also has a bunch of sugar in there, and they make it taste really good for you, and there's a limited amount of actual vitamin C. So it's not any good. So you have to make sure that you're getting a really good source of the vitamin C to fight that stuff. Otherwise, you're going to do the opposite of that.
The only synthetic vitamin that I would recommend is ascorbic acid. You can get the vitamin C, the synthetic version, and it still does the same thing as the natural stuff, but it's cheaper. So C1000 Now brand, they're in capsules, so you should take up to 3,000 milligrams of vitamin C per day. Naturally, if you're not even having symptoms. I can go up to 10,000 a day when I have symptoms, and vitamin D is raised up to 10,000 IUs per day as well.
Yeah, so that also goes into, like, we don't want you to be, like, eating a bunch of oranges and eating a bunch of grapefruit and all that stuff. Even though there is vitamin C, that has a lot of sugar in that. So even, like, orange juice, just because it has some vitamin C in it, like, if you get the orange juice from the regular, like just the store, that probably has more sugar than it actually has a vitamin C. So you just have to be consciously aware of what that's doing to your body and to your immune system, whether it's fighting it or not. So if you have questions, you can always ask us here in the office. You can email us. You can type in the comments below. We'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. If you want to get your spine checked, if you've never had that, we are doing a Friends and Family Week this week. Super fun. We have a food drive going on, so you can bring a bag of food in, and we'll get you your consultation and exam going on. We have a bunch of people coming in for that.
Our goal is 1,500 pounds of food donated to the food pantry this year, and that's just our give back every year. I think last year we did around 1,200, so we want to raise that a little bit here this year.
Canned foods are the best.
Yeah,
They
so
weigh the
weights
most.
is the best. Canned foods that we
Canned
just
foods
talked
weigh
about,
more than
but people need to eat.
cereal boxes.
So, thanks guys for being here today. Friday we'll be back with 5 Essential Friday, and we will see you next week. If you like the information, I see a lot of great comments here today. Please just go ahead and like it and share it so the people that you love and care about can get the same information exposed to them so they can start applying this to their life. Thanks, and we will see you next week.
Peace out.